India, home of 1.3 billion people, is a confluence of religions, traditions and customs. A thriving global center of technology and the world's largest democracy. As one of the oldest civilizations in the world with a rich cultural heritage and diversity, and as the fifth largest economy in the world, India is proud to assume the presidency of G20. As the country blooms into a new era, we look to another poignant symbol for humanity to emerge victorious from its challenges. Lotus, the national flower of India, representing our culture, history and heritage. A poignancy to emerge victorious from its challenges. And the inspiration for India's G20 logo design. The design, rendered in saffron, white, green and blue, is drawn from the national flag of India. The 7 petals in the logo signify the 7 seas and the coming together of 7 continents at G20 India 2023. Sitting above the lotus is a representation of the earth, reflecting India's pro-planet approach to life and seeing the world as one family. From this, we derive the theme for G20 India 2023, Vasudeva Kutumbakam, one earth, one family, one future. A theme that brings the G20's focus on shared global growth, while being in harmony with nature. G20 India 2023. One earth, one family, one future. Vasudeva Kutumbakam.
Hari Om. Hari Om. Do we have the Josh? Yes. Ayam nija paroveti ganana laghuchetasam udara charitanam tu vasudhaiva kutumbakam. Considerations like he is mine or he is another's occur only to the narrow-minded person. To the broad-minded person, the whole world is a family. It is with great pride and gratitude that I address you on this momentous occasion. Bharat, our country assumed the presidency of G20 this year. Our Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, has initiated a series of initiatives to engage with all sections of society in India and around the world through C20 India 2023. We at CVV have a great opportunity to host the regional C20 conference. Let's begin the program with the invocation of the Almighty. May I call upon our own Pramodini ji, the head of the School of Kala Yoga, for the prayer.
I will chant the same prayer that he has recited. Ayam Aparao Ganana Laghuchetasa Ayam Aparao Ganana Laghuchetasa उदारचरितानां तु वसुधैव कुटुम्बकम् वसुधैव कुटुम्बकम् वसुधैव कुटुम्बकम्.
Thank you, Pramodini ji, for the wonderful, mellifluous, auspicious beginning. Now we move upon to the next program, Deepa Jwalanam. Lighting of the lamp represents the illumination of knowledge and the triumph of wisdom over ignorance. May I now call upon Swami Mitrananda ji, Professor Ajay Kapoor ji, Dr. Aparao Mukamala ji, Dr. K.K. Muhammad, the renowned archaeologist, and Professor Achyut Shankar for lighting the lamp. As we light the lamp, let us take a moment to acknowledge the light that shines within each of us and the importance of nurturing and sharing that light with others. With this symbolic act of lighting the lamp, we honor the traditions and values that have guided us throughout history and look forward to a bright future.
शुभं करोति कल्याणं आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तु ते. दीपज्योतिः परब्रह्म दीपज्योतिर्जनार्दनः दीपो हरतु मे पापं दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तु ते. दीपज्योतिः परब्रह्म दीपः सर्वतमोपहः दीपेन साध्यते सर्वं दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तु ते. दीपज्योतिः परब्रह्म दीपज्योतिः जनार्दनः दीपो हरतु मे पापं दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तु ते.
I request Swami Mitrananda ji, Dr. Aparao Mukamala ji, Professor Ajay Kapoor ji to occupy their seats on dais. Thank you. Now, it is my great privilege and I am delighted to invite the unimitable personality, our one and only Aparao ji, Managing Trustee of Chinmaya Vishwa Vidyapeeth Trust, to deliver the welcome address. Dr. Aparao Mukamala comes with a long successful track record in the world of medicine, business and philanthropy in the United States and India. In 2020, Dr. Aparao retired as clinical professor of radiology at the College of Human Medicine at Michigan State University. He is now chairman emeritus of the radiology department at the Hurley Medical Center in Flint, Michigan. Professionally, Dr. Aparao is a board certified radiologist, nuclear and pediatric radiologist. He is an institution builder by nature, being the founder of the Telugu Association of North America and the American Association of Physicians from India. He has served in senior roles at various professional and charitable bodies in the United States and India. He came into contact with Swami Chinmayananda in the late 70s, and since then he is a transformed individual. He has served Puja Gurudev's vision in many different ways, first as a director of Chinmaya Mission West for over 4 decades, and through funding and volunteering on numerous other Chinmaya Mission trusts in the US and in India. Currently, he is Managing Trustee of Chinmaya Vishwa Vidyapeeth Trust. Dr. Aparao is responsible for driving the strategic vision and direction of the Chinmaya Vishwa Vidyapeeth, a de-novo university. Now, I once again call upon the unimitable personality, our one and only Aparao ji, for delivering the welcome address.
Thank you, sir. Hari Om. Hari Om. I welcome you in the name of Brahmalin, His Holiness Swami Chinmaya ji. My weakness is I can't tell his name without crying. That's my strength too. Excuse me. Yeah. G20 started with one of the mottos which we do not embrace. Dhanamoolam idam jagat. When economy was in crisis in 1999, when the banks failed, 20 largest economies decided to get together in Washington, D.C. to sustain the economy, not the environment. By ruining the environment, they want to sustain the economy. Wisdom prevailed. In 2008, they decided to form formally an entity called G20, the 20 largest economies. In our part of the world, we are the only one. India is part of G20. It is truly a privilege that India, under the leadership of Narendra Modi ji, could host G20 2023. The theme itself, Vasudeva Kutumbakam, says it all. If we can live with that theme, we all will become Mahatmas and realized souls. Seeing all in one and one in all, we are all one. One world, one earth, one future. Saying is easy. Living is difficult but not impossible. Very rarely do we get an opportunity to shape public policy. We all have the privilege to vote, but we don't have the opportunity to make a policy. G20 is a platform where each and every voice will be heard, may become the policy of all the developed and developing countries through G20. C20 is one of the sub-themes or engagement groups of G20. Andaji will elaborate upon. Chinmaya University is privileged to host this event. Gurudev's vision was to start a university that can make a difference in the world. This is one of the things that we are hosting that can make a difference in the world to save the earth. Saving the earth is purely selfish. We are saving ourselves. Earth does not need our help. Earth can sustain itself without us, but we cannot sustain without earth. The environment can survive without us. We cannot survive without environment. Insects can survive without us. We can't survive without them. Forests can survive without us. We cannot survive without them. That's the Vasudeva Kutumbakam. Being a de-novo university, we are unique. We should do which no other university normally does. CVV is just that. To bridge the gap between the East and the West. East is standard of life. West is standard of living. Merging the two, the whole universe will become one, where we all can live comfortably and happily without destroying the nature that we are living in. The deliberation today from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. is just on that. We have eminent speakers in the form of Swami Mitrananda ji, other Swamis of Chinmaya Order, Muhammad ji, Venugopalji, Govindji, Nayarji, and everybody else. Please pay attention, give your input. All this is being recorded. This will be sent to the central committee that is hosting C20, which will be sent again to G20. What you say, what we do, what we talk may become the policy to save the environment, to save our home, to save ourselves. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, Hari Om.
Thank you, Aparao ji, for setting the right tone of this conference with your heart-touching message. Now it is the time for honoring the dignitaries on the dais. May I call upon the volunteers to honor Swami Mitrananda ji with the flower bouquet. This is a token of our love. Next, Professor Ajay Kapoor ji. Next to Dr. Aparao Mukamla ji. Thank you. Now we move on to the next item in our program. This is the inaugural address by Swami Mitrananda ji. Before I invite him, let me speak 2 words about him. Swami Mitrananda ji, a direct disciple of our Puja Gurudev Swami Chinmaya, has been associated with the Chinmaya mission from his young age. Swami Mitrananda ji plays many critical roles with ease. He is the mentor and convener of Chinmaya Mission Chennai, mentor and convener of Chinmaya Mission Northeast India, founder of Chinmaya Academy of Management, founder of Chinmaya Academy for Civil Services. He is a creative writer, daring adventurer, and vigilant administrator, and he has traveled across 35 countries to impart the wisdom of Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, and other Vedantic texts. He initiated the movement Youth Empowerment Program and has trained over 600 youngsters across the world to serve Indian knowledge traditions for 1 year in urban and rural parts of India. His innovative methodology of teaching and logical interpretations of ancient Hindu philosophy has made him very popular globally and mainly with the youth. Now, may I call upon Swami Mitrananda, the ever-inspiring Swamiji, who always leads from the front, to deliver his address on the conference theme, Vasudeva Kutumbakam.
Samasta jana kalyane niratham karunamayam namami chinmayam devam satgurum brahmavitvaram. Yeah, that's okay. Checking. My salutations to Swami Vivekananda and to everyone present here. Pranam. Gurudev, Swami Chinmaya, in one of his talks, Planet in Crisis, made a statement, which is a very important statement for all of us to think. Way back in 1992, this statement Gurudev made. He said, open up the globe of the world. See the globe of the world? Let's say if we see the globe here, just imagine. Go put your finger anywhere in the globe and tell me if there is no conflict. Now please think about it. Anywhere you touch in the globe, there is conflict. Who created this? We have 84 lakh species on this planet. 83.999 has not created this conflict. So who created this conflict? One species called humans. What have we done to this planet? Why have we gone far away from what the planet should be? Why have we done this? How can humans Who's got the intellect to think? Other species don't have that. They live at the level of instinct, guided through instinct. We have the ability to think, one species of the 84, and what have we done to this planet? Whether it is conflict between nations, conflict between humans, caste and creed, race and religion. Think. Conflict in the area of climate change. To which extent we have gone and destroyed the planet. Why? Only one reason. Humans have become extremely selfish. And the policies which govern the world moved away. Long ago, we had this good policies in place, which as a mother, not just Bharat. There are many traditions upon this earth, where there were many traditions upon this earth which worshipped nature, pagans. The Native Americans, the Aborigines in Australia, so many African tribes, and even, like what we call as Global South, most people were worshipping nature. Surya was worshipped in Persia and in Japan. Nature was worshipped for a very long time. And we saw, the world civilizations saw nature as God. Because that is a very important thought. These civilizations around the globe saw the creator and the created as divine. This is the basic understanding we need. The creator and the created, both are divine. The moment we shifted our idea from the creator and the created, we separated. We saw the created different from the creator. Then it became conquer the created, conquer the earth, conquer nature. That which should be worshipped, a wrong attitude got into our mind, conquer. And after that, the conflicts. So here in this C20 seminars, what we have, one of the topics is to bring back earth worshipping, earth revering traditions. Like you have different sub-themes. One sub-theme is going back to those civilizations across the globe where they revered the earth revering traditions. Living oneness. How do we bring oneness in the minds of people? This is another topic. The 9 sub-themes which we are working, Vasudeva Kutumbakam, 9 sub-themes. One is revering earth traditions. Second one is living oneness. How do we bring oneness? The commonality. Third, ecology. And that is very important. What is our lifestyle managing ecology? For example, in average Indian family, 4.9% is the living population. 4.9 average, if you take. In some of the European countries and in the West, particularly the Americans, per family is 2.1, 2.2. Do you understand the difference? 4.9, 2.1. Suppose we Asians also adopt the lifestyle of the West and go for 2.1 or 2 per family household. How much more forest would be destroyed to build apartments? How much more nature would be erased? Where is the land? 29% is the land on this earth. 71% is water. In that 29%, 9% of land is not habitable, like the mountains, deserts, where we can't live. So we have 20% land. In this 20% land, 10% land goes for agriculture. And really 8%, 2% for agriculture. So basically we have 10% land. In this, if we adopt a lifestyle of 2 people exclusively, living separate, how much more forest would be erased? Where is the land? You see Indian lifestyle. Living simple, living as a family. You see how a family value contributes to ecology. It's a beautiful family value. We live together. 4.9 people living together. 5 people living together in small house. You guard the nature, you protect the nature, you support ecology by your living lifestyle. It is not something to be created. We are already practicing. If we adopt 2, just imagine, where would be the forests? What would be the natural resources taken away? World needs to learn few things from Bharat. Our living lifestyle, our family values. Now you see what Gurudev says in the pledge, giving more than what we take. See how beautiful this line is. And when did this person tell this? In 1950, 51, 52, that time he said that we should start living, producing more than what we consume and giving more than what we take. 4 or 5 people living together, taking minimum, giving maximum, because we have respect for the nature. Indian lifestyle that way is a very, very important value. So when India is hosting G20, and it's a brilliant thought from the Prime Minister and his team to bring Vasudeva Kutumbakam as the motto. Of course, the English translation is modified. One earth, one future, one family. Basically indicating the same, but the concept of bringing this, to bring it into the table for G20 nations to discuss that created and the creator are divine. Because many people today think God is somewhere else, far away. Created has got nothing to do with creator. So do whatever you want with the creation, because the creator is somewhere sitting far away. That idea is wrong. The created and the creator both are divine. The cause and the effect. From the cause only this effect has come. The effect is nothing but a cause in another form. Unless this comes into the mainstream discussion, hope for this planet is not there. We need to get back to the Vedic understanding, or the understanding across the globe of many ancient civilizations which revered and worshipped Earth. When we say Mother Earth, or when we call rivers Mother, it is to say, look at the earth like how you look at your mother. Look at river Ganga like how you look at your mother. Have that motherly feeling because they give you the same. This concept has to come into the mainstream discussion through education, through economics, through ecology, through ethics, through earth revering traditions, through oneness, through media and entertainment. They also play a role. How do we bring the spirit of Vasudeva Kutumbakam into the mainstream narrative in common people? So we need the support of media and entertainment also brings this narrative again and again. This is the idea of this conference. So it's a wonderful opportunity for civilians. C20 means civil 20, civil societies. So it's an opportunity for us to come together, discuss this particular idea, and give recommendations. All the recommendations will be compiled and submitted to the Government of India, the central team there. They will go through this and make a policy draft. And that policy draft, when the G20 leaders come to India in September, Prime Minister would take it up. So on this concept, Vasudeva Kutumbakam, they had faith Chinmaya Mission would deliver. That we would work on this. We have the scholars with us. We have the connection of bringing best of the minds together to discuss, to deliberate, and to make. Please remember, this is just not one of time pass conventions. Here, our points would be noted. It is all video recorded so that in leisure, there is a team in Chennai who will sit and go through all the discussions and pick up the points. And that would be made as recommendations. So it's an opportunity for us, everyone sitting here, even the students. It's an opportunity for us to give some wonderful suggestions which can go in making a policy draft. That's why in our Chinmaya Vidyalayas, we are starting this, and other schools will also surely take up. I could speak to a few chief ministers and to the Department of Education, etc. in different states, centrally too, to start celebrating G20 in schools. Model G20, which you otherwise, like it is a popular term for many people is mock parliament. You understand? It's a wrong. We are nobody to mock parliament. Mock youth parliament, mock UN. You call it MUN, right? MUN, mock UN. Sitting in one part of the earth, we are mocking UN. Mock is a wrong word, but unfortunately it has caught up. Mock question paper, that way the word mock has caught up. It is model. So our Chinmaya Vidyalayas are celebrating model G20. Imagine bringing this theme of Vasudeva Kutumbakam to school children to discuss through competitions, through paintings, through poems, having a G20 summit, model G20 summit in school. Imagine the thought development for a child. And the parents come there to watch. Even there, if the recommendations come, we would be compiling them. So it's a wonderful opportunity for us to involve civil society, civilians of the G20 nations to work on this ancient Vedic idea, Vasudeva Kutumbakam, a statement from Rig Veda. So I'm very happy that Chinmaya Vishwa Vidyapeeth has taken this responsibility of doing one seminar. We don't have to stop with one. It can continue. At school level also, Swamiji, there can be a discussion on such themes in a smaller way. And so that the idea is once again circulated to bring it into the mainstream narrative. So I'm very glad that we have taken, and the organizers have invited some brilliant minds to come here. To all the speakers who is going to present your ideas today, after your talk, please give your recommendations. Apart from the talk, anything else which you would like to add, because the talk time limit is there. So if anything else you want to add also, you can put, these are my 5 recommendations, these are my 7 recommendations. I request every one of you to give your recommendations. We are recording and we will also compile, but the speakers also can give their recommendations. That will help us in taking forward to make a policy draft. Thank you very much for taking this up. Wish you all the best.
Thank you, Swamiji, for your thought-provoking inaugural address. You have rightly pointed out the need and necessity to live unitedly. Nowadays, we have moved towards the apartment culture where everybody is locked inside the concrete jungle, because the apartments are increasing in size of single bedroom, double bedroom, triple bedroom, like that. So you have rightly opened our hearts. Ajnanativirandhasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Sri Mitranandaya namaha. Now our next speaker is our own beloved Vice Chancellor, Professor Ajay Kapoorji. He has got a presentation, so I request all the dignitaries to take a seat in the front row. Now, may I call upon our beloved Vice Chancellor, Professor Ajay Kapoorji, for his presidential address. For want of time, I am not introducing him because he is already well known in the field of research as well as academics, and he is a well known faculty also here in CVV. So I request Professor Ji to offer his presidential address.
Thank you, Sampath Ji. Can somebody have my slide, please? Is there a pointer which I can use? So, couple of things which I'll very quickly summarize here, that G20 represents about 2/3 of the world population, about 3/4 of the world's trade, and about 4/5 of the world's GDP. So it's a group of 20 countries, but they're large and, in a sense, in inverted comma, powerful. And I'll tackle that point later also, that what does and how should we define that powerful and leadership? Can we equate them? What are the opportunities in front of us? It's really a momentous occasion that India is now there. So we have an opportunity to shape the discourse. So that Vasudeva Kutumbakam, we can put that as the main agenda. We can empower everyone. That is what it is. That it's not only the developed countries who should be doing this. In fact, the developing countries who are going to benefit should also play a key role in that. And then we have to provide solutions. No point in just talking about it and keep on talking about it. It happens all the time. Many things are done with good intention, but till it happens, it has not happened. It's not benefited anyone. Now let me show you a slide, which is one of my favorite slides, and I'm pretty sure many of you would have seen this. This is some data from World Bank, United Nations, and has been compiled together by, I think, Visual Capitalist. This sums up last 2000 years of world's GDP and then says that which country has contributed or takes the major share of that GDP. Now, what you will notice there is that as we expect, and coming from India, that expectation is very common. We know things will change. We call it Jagat. It keeps on changing. So we can't say that we will always sit at the apex. It will go down. We will go down as a civilization. The ones who are sitting at the top now will also go down, and then maybe we will come up again. So that is the basic premise. We shouldn't feel too bad about it. It will happen to everyone. Now, there are some interesting things. So I like to dissect it a little bit so that I can pinpoint those issues which are quite important in front of us. Now, one thing you notice at the very top, at the very right side is that whatever the rankings, current rankings are that India is number 5 in the world in terms of GDP. And if you listen to the people who do these predictions, in 2050, India could be number 1 or number 2. So that's all very good. Now, if you look at this picture, you find that at the very beginning, India was contributing about a third to about 40%. But then you see that somewhere about 70% to the right, we lost that share, but it's now increasing. And good to see that we'll be taking a major share. Now, there are some problems there. If you see the x-axis is very distorted. The 1000 years of the beginning have the same length as 2000 to 2017, about 17 years. So let me correct it. So what I've done there is to remove that distortion from this picture. This is what generally setting. You show the previous picture and everybody thinks that for a short period of time India had that large control. Not really, no. The way that data is presented makes us think. Whereas if you correct that distortion, you find that India dominated financially for 1500 years in the last 2000 years. Okay. Then there are some other things. There's another thing. Those of you with very sharp eye would have noticed that at the top left of this figure, they have said share of GDP in bracket world power. So now I am told that if you have control of world GDP, you are a world power. It's happening like this. But is that the right way to define the word power? Is that the right way to say that yes, you take leadership and do things to all of us? So what I'm saying is that, look, that's a very questionable way of doing things. Yes, it has been happening. It has happened. But leadership is more than just being rich. It's more about giving than taking. We capture that in our pledge. We capture that in many ways in our Hinduism also. But that is what it is. So let us look at the contributions of India to the world. And I'll also like to define history, not in the last 2000 years only, but in fact before that as well. So let's see what it shows us. So this is a very simple attempt to compress a lot of information into this kind of a table. What I've got there is the very top one, second one is about 500 years, then another 500 years. Then we cover all of that, let's say a couple of thousand years of history in the bottom one. And I've just randomly put a couple of areas there, like what are the thoughts, religions and dharmas, science and technology, sports and games, politics, living with neighbors. When I say living with neighbors, I mean living with neighbors in my house next door as well as the next country. So all of that I'm trying to capture there. And education. And the wonderful things are there. If you notice, Sanatan Dharma, of course. But then Jainism came from here, Buddhism came from here, Advaita came from here, and in fact Sikhism. So all those thoughts are coming from here. If I look at science and technology, then I'm not going through, because I know there'll be more talks about it a bit later on in today. And you notice that mentions of things which word knew much later on are in our scriptures. Earth being a sphere, the whole space-time being spheroid, Surya Siddhanta is based on that. Detailed calculations are incredibly accurate. Thousands of years back they were done. So all that was there. Then if you see, ours is not a static culture, ours is not a static knowledge, it keeps on moving forward. So if you see, 1000 years back, Aryabhatta, Varamehra, I'm not going to go into those details. About 1000 years back, Kerala School of Maths, lot of work on series, lot of work on even, some people said differentials and integrals. A lot of work is there. And then coming to more recent times, last 100 years or so, 11 Nobel Prizes. So it is not a mean fact. And I must now point out to that bottom right hand side, despite having 1000-year-long patch of bad times. So even though we were subjugated, we kept on marching forward. And then you can likewise look at sports and games, chess, Chaturanga is mentioned, cards, board games, Kalaripattu, and now Bollywood. It's a very influential means of controlling, giving our masses soft power, as it is called. And then if you look at politics and living with neighbors, Mohenjo-daro, Harappa, all those places, incredible, 5,000 years back, 40,000 people living there, well-planned underground sewerage system. So all that was there. And then today, democracy. And the good thing is that we never waged a war. So all that was done without going and conquering people. Yes, a little bit of fights have always been there, and they will always be there. But then large-scale massacre of people, which we see, no, it wasn't there. Education, we are sitting here, which is a seat of education, both as CIF and as CVV. Takshila, Vikramshila were there, Nalanda was there. In fact, if you go just about 200 years back, Bengal's 100,000, 1 lakh Pathshalas were there. The literacy rate in those times was very, very high. So we should be very proud of it. And what have we done? I remember PL 460, many of my age will remember, we did not have after independence enough food to feed our people. America used to send their very poor quality wheat, PL 470. Now we are a net exporter. That is all a contribution of ours. In the modern times, modern day, we have green revolution, white revolution, and then UPI payment. After spending 40 years in the West, last year I came here, I've not seen anything better than a UPI payment, 1 rupee payment I can make. Has been anywhere near there. COVID vaccine, we were the first ones to develop it, control a large nation like India so that not many people get it. And in fact, we were very generous to share it with our neighbors and our other people. I was in Australia those days. All discussions in Australia were on how many vaccines can they get from all over the world. Even if everybody has had one, can they have 2, can they have 3, can they have 4? It's not that I have had one, let the other person have one, then I'll go for second. What a change, what a different way of thinking. And again, as I said, in our case, in case of India, we demonstrate that it's not that we are just taking, we are giving back. And we are giving back not when we are very rich, we are giving back when we are not very rich as well. 1000 years show that when we were not very rich, we were not doing very well, then also we progressed and then also we gave. So let me now come to what Vasudeva Kutumbakam means for me, means for Chinmaya Vishwa Vidyapeeth, and should mean for us. I like the word Kutumb. Kutumb is a wonderful word. It's non-hierarchical. Vishwa Guru is okay, but Vishwa Guru means I know better than you. Kutumb means you may be very poor, you may be very knowledgeable, you may not have any knowledge, you are same as me. One key thing there. Kutumb, we are same Kutumb. Wonderful word. So let us dissect each of these things one by one. What is one earth? And we have to be very clear. Earth has been there for 500 crore years. It will be there for a very, very, very long time. Nothing is going to happen to Earth. Let us not be under any false impressions that we are destroying there. So my goodness, that's end of the word is the word that people use. It's not. What we are doing is we are calling the end of ourselves. It will be end of us. I'll give you an example. Those who know about these things will remember dinosaurs. About 6.5 crore years, they were roaming the earth. For how many days? Incredibly long period of time. 60 years they were here. We have been there only 40 lakh years. Only 40 lakh years. They got wiped off totally. Has the earth stopped moving, spinning, rotating, going? Nothing has happened to the world. Happily going around the sun, going around the galaxy. So this earth will keep on surviving. We have to look at our survival. Now, how do we do that? We have to find ways of live harmoniously with Prithvi Mata. Questions should be, how long will you support me, Mata? What can I do so that you keep on supporting me for a long period of time? Full stop. The second thing is one family. We are different continents, we are different races, we are different colors, we are different genders, we are different religions, and so on and on and on. Sitting in India, we are 30 states. I lived half of my life in North India. Last year I came to Kerala. I go to a Hindu temple here. It's a very different Hindu temple, what I'm used to. I lived in Banaras. I go to Kashi Vishwanath temple daily as a young person, daily. Here it's totally different. I used to eat vegetarian food. I still eat vegetarian. It's a totally different food. So that diversity of India is actually here also. So one family in that sense, within us, within India, outside India, within the world. So we know that our G20 logo has this. And in fact, I just have put our CVV logo also. We also have 7 petals there. So very similar thoughts. I'm pretty sure we did it like that, but same kind of thoughts. So that is there. Now let us come to what can we do. So this is something which is easy to understand. In the past, maybe 10,000 years back, there were not many people there, maybe 1 crore, half a crore. Now we have got 800 crore. 800 crore people on the same Prithvi Mata. So things happen quickly. If you're close together, if COVID comes, everybody will get it. When you are 20 kilometers away, one family gets the other family, and they never see each other. So we have seen SARS came, MERS came, COVID came. It travels very, very fast. So anything that happens will happen all over the world. So West may like to keep things shut. States may like to within India say, oh, if you are coming from this state, can't come here because COVID. No, it will move. It will go to you. Financial crises came, everybody got affected. So remember, those days are not there. It will affect everybody. So we have to look after everybody to ensure a good future for us. And then there are challenges, and these are well documented. I am showing you on the right hand side a list of well-known 17 challenges, United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Let's work on those. Everything is captured there: poverty, hunger, health, well-being, education, gender equality. India has got all of that. We have got 10,000 years of history and wisdom to say, if you do it like this, you will succeed and you will not harm anybody, you will not have to conquer anybody, you will not have to go and massacre anybody. You can deliver it for all. So with that, I'll stop and I'll just say, let us all work together to create that one future.
Thank you, Ajay ji, for your wonderful speech. Now we move upon to the next session. Before that, you can see the QR code being displayed here. You can scan it, and the Google form will be open. You can enter all your thoughts and reviews if you have got anything. We would like to capture all your thoughts over that. And one more QR code is also displayed outside this Chidvilasa. So if you don't find enough time to scan this, you can make use of that also always. Now we move on to the next session. And it is based on the theme Dharma, spirituality, ethics, and ecology. Now I call upon Dr. Vishaka Venkat to take over the responsibility of MC. Thank you all.
Hari Om. Thank you, Sampaji. We'll be beginning the first thematic session now. The eminent speakers for this session will discuss, as he said, the aspects of Dharma, spirituality, ethics, and ecology. This session will look at the holistic idea of Vasudeva Kutumbakam from the Vedic age to the modern times. Let me welcome our honorable speakers for the day, Swamini Vimlananda ji, Dr. Gauri Mahulika, and Dr. Aparao Mukamala. We'll begin the session with a poetry rendition by our student Kavita Verma, and this is a self-composed poem by Kavita herself on Vasudeva Kutumbakam.
हरिओम। एक शक्ति कोई चला रही दुनिया के इस मंचन को, एक शक्ति कोई चला रही दुनिया के इस मंचन को, सूरज तारे जंतु मानव, सूरज तारे जंतु मानव सब प्राप्त उसी के बंधन को, सब प्राप्त उसी के बंधन को। नहीं किसी में भेद किया, नहीं किसी में भेद किया उस दिव्य महान सृजेता ने, नहीं किसी में भेद किया उस दिव्य महान सृजेता ने, लघुतम कृति को भी बना दिया, लघुतम कृति को भी बना दिया, दुल्हन सा उच्च विजेता ने, दुल्हन सा उच्च विजेता ने। कर्तव्य हमारा बनता है, कर्तव्य हमारा बनता है यदि हमको शक्ति अधिक मिली, कर्तव्य हमारा बनता है यदि हमको शक्ति अधिक मिली। सूरज सा तप जाए फिर, सूरज सा तप जाए फिर, यह सृष्टि सदा हो हरी भरी, यह सृष्टि सदा हो हरी भरी। आओ बन जाएं शुद्ध समीर, आओ बन जाएं शुद्ध समीर, समता से गुणों का प्रवाह करें, आओ बन जाएं शुद्ध समीर, समता से गुणों का प्रवाह करें। प्रत्येक पुष्प से ले सुगंध, प्रत्येक पुष्प से ले सुगंध, हम भेद को आज असार करें, हम भेद को आज असार करें। सबको अपने गले लगाकर, सबको अपने गले लगाकर एक दूजे के बने हितैषी, सबको अपने गले लगाकर एक दूजे के बने हितैषी। सबको भाई बहन पुकारें, सबको भाई बहन पुकारें, बने विवेकानंद सुभाषी, बने विवेकानंद सुभाषी। वसुधैव कुटुंबकम सदा, वसुधैव कुटुंबकम सदा, जपकर करें सिद्ध यह मंत्र, वसुधैव कुटुंबकम सदा, जपकर करें सिद्ध यह मंत्र। एक राग में, एक राग में रमकर सब पर, एक राग में रमकर सब पर, प्रेम का रंग डालें स्वतंत्र, प्रेम का रंग डालें स्वतंत्र। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, Kavita, for the wonderful Kavita that she has composed. And she is the IM Advaita Vedanta student. And I think Kavita represents the spirit of the youth and how they look forward to this Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Moving on, we have the first speaker for the session, Swamini Vimlananda ji. Allow me to introduce her. A dynamic leader, a serious seeker, a visionary educator, a nature lover, a prolific writer, and a popular speaker. Swamini Vimlananda ji travels around the world guiding seekers of all age groups. She is a senior disciple of Gurudev Swami Chinmaya ji and was initiated into sannyasa by him in 1992. After attaining the honors degree in architecture, she moved from designing of the world of outer space to the seeking of the sacred inner space. Swamini's passion for education found fulfillment when she assumed the role of director of Chinmaya Education Cell in 1996, and soon she developed the Chinmaya Vision Program, a manifesto for the holistic development of children in Chinmaya Vidyalayas and beyond. By heading the Chinmaya Mission Education Cell for 25 years, she has touched the lives of countless teachers and students. Today, Chinmaya Vision program is the heart and essence of all Chinmaya education institutions, and much of this vision is now reflected in the national education policy. We are glad to be blessed with her presence today. Let me welcome her wholeheartedly for this session. She'll be joining us online and will be addressing us on holistic vision of Vasudeva Kutumbakam through the lens of Dharma. Swaminiji, please.
Namaskar. Om Sahana Bhavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu, Sahaviryam Karavavahe, Tejasvinavaditamastu Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Hari Om and Namaskar to everyone. Topic is holistic vision of Vasudeva Kutumbakam through the lens of Dharma. So let's start with what is Dharma. We should always understand a word in the language in which it is spoken. Once I was asked, when I came years back to Tamil Nadu, Tamil Terima? And I said, no, Gujarati Merima. I understood this word in Hindi and it was spoken in Tamil. What they wanted to know was, do you understand Tamil? And I replied, my mother is Gujarati. So therefore, we must go to the root of the word dharma in Sanskrit where it originated. Dharyate anena iti dharma. That which connects, which is the integrating force, which unites, which is the very essence of everything in the whole universe, is called Dharma. Dharma is like with very, very different type of meanings. One of the meaning and one of the main meaning is the essence of the entire universe. The support, the binding force, the truth. For example, the dharma of fire is heat. Without heat, there is no fire. So that which gives existence to everything and anything, makes it what it is, which is the very nature of a thing, is called what? Dharma. Now, since Dharyate anena, that support is what we are calling as dharma, obviously it does not refer to a religion as one of the meanings of dharma. Values of life, duties, right conduct, morality, righteousness, all these are different names for dharma, different meanings for dharma. If we have understood this, now what is the opposite of dharma? Very interesting. Since we have said that dharma is that which is the uniting factor, the essence, the opposite of dharma is that which is divisive, which disintegrates, which creates a discord, conflict. We call it a dharma. Now comes an interesting point. Hinsa means injuring, violence, etc. Ahimsa means lack of hinsa. That's the only meaning. It's not a positive emotion. Hinsa means violence. It's something positive. Positive in the sense, not positive, good thing, but it's something which is an actual thing, hinsa. But ahimsa is nothing. It's just the lack of hinsa. Mana means pride, but lack of mana. Amana is not something special. It's just lack of mana. So similarly, if you say adharma means what? Lack of dharma. No. In case of adharma, Adharma is actually something which is evil, which is unrighteous, which is disintegrating, which is divisive. So it's an actual feeling or actual, what do you call it, an emotion, or I can't call it an emotion, but it is something. Amana is not something, it's just lack of mana, but adharma is unrighteousness. If we have understood this, comes a very, very important factor. Dharma and adharma are not very black and white as one would like to think. Where there is no dharma, there is adharma. Sometimes it's difficult to determine this dharmic attitude or vision, or what is dharma, adharma. Two sides will have dharma, and yet one would consider the other as adharma. Let me explain this to you. People who care for, ecology and species, species going extinct, they will say we must spend money in preserving wildlife. Extremely dharmic attitude, dharmic vision, dharmic thing to do. And someone will say that same, and it takes lakhs and millions of rupees to do that. Someone will say that same money should be used for giving food to the hungry. That is also noble, that is also righteous, that is also dharmic. So the person who believes in feeding the poor will say, why waste money in conserving a wild animal species when people are going hungry? Some will say, but that is very important. If all of them become extinct, it's going to harm the ecology. We cannot have that. Now, both of them have, so to speak, dharmic side. One can look at the other as dharmic, and yet we know that there is a dharma paksha in both of them. So therefore, it's not very easy to always say, this is dharma. That is why it is always said, gahana karmano. That is difficult. But we must understand this extremely important thing, which is that yatha drishti tatha srishti. As our vision, so the world appears to be. If we have, Puja Guruji's words are very lovely, a partial vision, a narrow vision is divisive, a broad vision is expansive, and a holistic vision is all inclusive. A holistic vision means a dharmic vision. A dharmic vision is all inclusive. Now, this, see, for example, a person with a jaundiced eye is going to see the whole world differently. A person with eyes of love and kindness, a vision of love and kindness, will look at the world differently. So therefore, a day you get up in a good mood, the world is beautiful and happy. So as your vision, so the world appears to us, and therefore a dharmic, all-inclusive vision is very important. In the language of Gita, it is called a sattvic vision. A sattvic vision or a dharmic vision or an all-inclusive vision breaks walls and builds bridges between communities, societies, individuals, countries, races, etc. And therefore, this vision, which is the bedrock and the very basis of Indian philosophy, Sanatana Dharma, brings wonderful tenets, one of which is Vasudeva Kutumbakam. Now, let's talk of one more vision, because it is the vision is a dharmic vision, and from that many such tenets come into being. And each one is again related to the other is what I would like to explain. One of the inclusive tenets is, principle is that the whole world is born from that one truth or God. Truth is sustained by that truth and merges back into that same truth. Mayeva sakalam jatam, mayi sarvam pratishtitam, mayi sarvam layam yati, tad brahma aham advaya. From that same Brahma truth, everything arises. From God, everything arises. For example, all waves arise from the ocean, are sustained by the ocean, and merge back into the ocean. So this truth is all our origin of every living being. If we know that all of us share the same origin, don't you think this is an extremely wonderful vision, dharmic vision, an all-inclusive vision? Whom do I have a fight with? It all comes from the same source. Whom can I fight? The second such vision is that the self in me is the self of all. For example, the water in a single wave is the water in the tsunami. Tsunami is the water in every bubble. Is the water everywhere. This is again, now if I know that the self in me is the self in you, I love you, not as you, but as my own self. And we all love ourselves the most, no doubt about it. Anyone who says otherwise is not really saying the truth. We all love ourselves. And if I can love you as my own self, that love is true love, lasting love, eternal love, a love that will not break through any form of divorce. It will last through all conflicts. It will last through all the problems that we can face. Why? Because I love myself and I love you unconditionally, choicelessly. And that is what is reflected in our culture, where through a simple gesture like a namaskar. When I do namaskar, what am I saying? At the deeper level, I am saying that the self in you and the self in me is one. The God in you, the God in me is one. And I do namaskar to that one God. How can I hate you? How can I have conflict with you? Because you are nothing but my own true self. From the same beautiful, all-inclusive, dharmic vision comes this wonderful thought of Vasudeva Kutumbakam. We all know this is a part of a verse. The origin of it is in the Upanishads, and in the Hitopadesh, many other places also, you find this verse. In many of our scriptures, this is quoted. Ayam paro nijo veti, ganana lagu chetasam, udara charitanam tu Vasudeva Kutumbakam. So when the person has this narrow vision of just me and my, you and yours, divisive nature, which is called in the language of Gita, a Rajasic vision. We know, we have experienced what divide and rule policy. Divisive. And we are victims of that even to some extent, even now, unfortunately. A Rajasic vision. And a Tamasic vision is to consider one small part as everything and give importance only to that and think that is the whole. Here we have a vision of Vasudeva Kutumbakam. The whole world is mine. In this Vasudeva Kutumbakam, very beautifully the G20 has said, one earth, one family, one future. Comes very, very interesting now. This inclusive vision that we are talking about many dharmic or values, dharmic mulyas or values arise out of this. What are some of them? we know that in a family, Pujya Gurudev has given a beautiful statement as the Chinmaya Mission pledge. We stand as one family, bound to each other with love and respect. Now, we already talked about the body, that I love someone else as my own self. So I consider my body as myself normally. Now, we know that there are differences in each of the parts. Head looks different, has a different function. The legs look different, they have a different function. Everything is different, and yet all of it has one unifying factor. Unity in diversity is one of the values that emerges out of this one family dharmic vision, inclusive vision. In this body, even though all of them have their own place and own position, the notion of oneness is stronger than the notion of differences. And this oneness is retained or held by love and respect, mutual love and respect. Let me explain this to you. In the body, we have a skeletal system, we have a nervous system. Outside, if we have an injury, it's much easier to heal. It's a superficial wound, we call it. But if some internal, a nervous system, a skeletal system, or the very vital physiological functions, if they get damaged, a deeper wound is there. It is much more difficult to heal. Now, similarly, if love and respect is holding us as a family together, even though outside there might be differences, there might be superficial conflicts, there might be misunderstandings between countries and communities and races. This is possible because there are differences. Human mind is different. You cannot say there will be no conflict in the world. That is very, very, unrealistic. Because everyone has a different mind. There are bound to be differences in thinking. But if there is this mutual love and respect, that will hold the family, the entire world together. If that goes away, if this ability to forgive and ability to love despite of all the differences, to be able to see this unity in all this, to be all inclusive, if that is lost, then we are in trouble. Then only conflict will become important, differences will rule, and this oneness and love will be lost. So unity in diversity is a very, very important part of this Vasudeva Kutumbakam. Then the other thing that is very important, naturally, when there is this family feeling of love and respect, and both are important, love and respect. Because so often there is love, but respect is not there. And that is why you see between, let's say, gender differences, we find so often there is a love, mutual love, but respect is not there and causes great harm in society. Between races also, there might be love sometimes, but respect is not there. So both are equally important. Love and respect is what holds us together. Now, naturally, if I consider every part of my body as my body, I do not think a headache is a north problem and a leg ache is a south problem. The whole body, if there is a discomfort anywhere, I feel the pain. If I give a foot massage, I am happy. If I have a headache, I feel. Similarly, if I have this Vasudeva Kutumbakam feeling of all inclusiveness, then any part of the world is equally important because it gives me discomfort. However remote it may be from me, however, I'm not aware of how many times it happens. Until unless I have a pain, I don't even know that that particular muscle exists in me. Similarly, this whole world and the pain of the world, the pain of everyone, the joy of everyone becomes our shared joy, and achievement of anyone becomes our shared achievement. extremely important of this love. And then, do I ever get tired of serving my body? Never. Others would get tired, but I never get tired of serving my body. Endlessly, I take care of my body and I do everything possible to, make myself comfortable and happy and feel good factor and everything I buy for that. Similarly, I share in my this. If I have this all-inclusive vision, then I will do everything to serve. I will not feel bad in serving. Loving and serving and sharing and caring are part of this all-inclusive vision. These are all the values that arise out of this all-inclusive Dharmic vision of Vasudeva. Now, it's ideal to talk of these values, but we see that they are not followed. In our own lives, in the world, we see it is not followed. Why is it so? We always realize that a value which is well assimilated is always followed. A value which is not well assimilated is not followed or followed sometimes when it is convenient. For example, the value of money the world over, nation-wise, individual-wise, everything-wise is very well assimilated. We have no doubt about that. Value of truth is not that well assimilated. So we would rather compromise with the truth where money is concerned. Why? Because it's well assimilated. So how can these values, all-inclusiveness values, become well assimilated in us, in our lives? So number one, we learn from our mistakes. When I get an accident, when I've not put a seat belt, I learn the lesson. I'll never go out without a seat belt. Well assimilated. After that, no one has to tell me put on the seat belt. Similarly, global warming and all this is enough experience. We have learned from our mistakes. There are mistakes happening. It is high time we did something for that. It's not something, it's all evident. The world, we know it. We are experiencing. These are all mistakes we have done. So one is learning from our mistakes. The other is having faith in the great scriptures and the wise, what they have told us. And they have told us N times all these wonderful things. Science is telling us, have faith in science, if not anything else. In our scriptures, and learn, we have to assimilate it. Right thinking is a very important thing by which we can get these values well assimilated. Once they are well assimilated, to follow them is choiceless. We will do that. Very, very important is we think global and act local. Until unless my individual life, Swachha Bharat we talked about, if everyone, the notion is if I throw a little bit of dust, of dirt or a paper, what difference it's going to make? It's going to make a difference. That small little thing is also going to make a difference. So therefore, our individual lives, we have to see that we have a green footprint on this earth, living a life which is poor, in line with this inclusive vision is extremely important. Communities have to commit to that. Of course, national policies have to be along those lines as well. I will end this session with a story. A shepherd was taking his sheep in the forest and he saw a shiny stone. He picked it up. So it looks very nice. I'll put it on my sheep. So one of his sheep, he put this stone around it, the neck of the sheep. A few days later, a jeweler was passing by the forest and saw this shiny object on the sheep. He went closer. Naturally, he got interested and he found that this was a priceless jewel. A jewel fit to be put in the crest of the king, the crown crest. So he told the shepherd, will you sell this to me? He didn't tell him that it was a priceless jewel. He just said, oh, yeah, can you sell the stone, shiny stone to me? He says, no, it looks quite nice on my sheep. I don't want to sell it. Please, I'll give you a lot of money. He says, how much will you give? These are good old days. He said, I'll give you 100 rupees. He says, for 100 rupees, I'll give you the sheep as well. This is a lot of money. He says, no, I don't want the sheep. I just want the stone. Just give it to me. And he gave the stone to him, the precious jewel, which the shepherd did not know what it was. He held it in his hand. And when the minute the jeweler held the stone in the hands, most beautiful, priceless jewel, it shattered into 1,000 pieces and a cry came out of it. And said, I was not feeling that insulted when I was on the neck of the sheep. The sheep did not know my value. It did not know what I am. I did not feel bad when the jeweler just put it on the sheep. The shepherd put me on the sheep's neck and called it a shining stone because it did not know. He did not know any better. But I feel terrible that you, knowing my value, have just traded me for something so cheap. I cannot stand this insult. I'd rather die than be with you. All of us know that our earth is very, very precious. Our family is very, very precious. Our future is very, very precious and invaluable. If we know it, and then we trade it for something which is very cheap, very, instant joys and pleasures, or not caring for our future or anything, the way we do in terms of our vision and our conflicts that we are having in the wars and this, if we have this lovely value of Vasudeva Kutumbakam, this inclusiveness that we have, this beautiful earth and beautiful family and beautiful future we have, if we trade it for just short-term benefits or, unrighteous ways or, conflicts and all of that, we are really doing a lot of harm to ourselves and everyone. Let's value this wonderful thing that we have and may we live this wonderful value of Vasudeva Kutumbakam, because that is the Dharmic way of living. Hari Om and Namaskar to everyone.
Thank you, Swamini Vimalananda ji, for the deep reflection on Dharma and also for showing us the challenges of Dharma and how Dharma, including our moral values and duties, becomes for Vasudeva Kutumbakam. As she said, let us think global and act local and keep this precious earth safe. Now, let's lend our ears to Swami Chinmaya ji and his perception on Dharma.
The other day when I was looking at the mirror, I saw that I've been looking starved, unhealthy, and I said, change the mirror. By changing the mirror, will I change? Wherever you go, in America, in Europe, every place, they are saying that ecological changes, ecology must be saved. How can you change the ecology? The outer world is nothing but reflection of your total mind. Every one of us is selfish, arrogant, greedy, lusty, and therefore the world outside looks very greedy, very dirty, very filthy. You change. The world shall change by itself without you lifting even your little finger. The world is not something different from you. All of us put together is the world. The total mind is the world. The world is projected not by me, but me, you, and everybody. Who constituted this field of experience? Hey, those who have organized would say that we did it. Supposing you did not come, what would be the conflict? All of you have come. I could not reach there. This experience of this moment will not be possible. So at this moment, if this experience is there, it is not because of me, it is not because of the organizers, it is not because of you there, but all of us put together is this world. World meaning a common field of experience. Not the world means the globe. The world of doctors, the world of engineers, the world of scientists, the world of artists. Doesn't mean that there's a different world, a field of common experience. This world of common experience is only possible when all of our minds are put together. This integration of the mind is lost because each mind is now cocooned with its own selfishness. From the top to bottom, everybody is thinking only his wife and his children. And hence the endless, sorrowful corruptions and immoralities everywhere. This is not a country unless the people in the country have got the one goal to integrate their minds together. That is a nation. This is only a country. In politics it is said, a geographical area where a large population lives is called a country. A geographical area where a people live is called a nation. So how can our country become a nation? The population must become people. Population is each individual separate from each other. When it becomes a people, they are all cemented together. And in that cementing is the strength and vitality and beauty. A nation is built only when there is a natural goal and purpose, a harmonization of the minds of the people. When the minds are so dirty and filthy, of baser values and lower ideology, that a nation will make, not only nation will be, the nation is broken, but when such people are there around the world, war is imminent. Peace is not because of a UNO. What can the UNO secretary do? But go and beg. But everybody wants war. In their heart there is only blood, thirsty blood, and for unholy profit, nobody can save. This individual perfection alone can take us to world perfection.
So, as Swamiji said, let us all work together to make this world a better place. Now, I would like to invite our speakers for the session, Dr. Gauriji and Dr. Aparao onto the stage. Gauriji, Aparao, please. And I would like to welcome them with a token of appreciation. Students, please. So, Dr. Gauriji and Dr. Aparao. The next speaker for the session is our own dynamic orator, Professor Dr. Gauri Mohalika. Gauriji is the academic director at SIF, and she is a great Sanskrit scholar and author who has published 8 books and over 100 research articles in English, Marathi, Hindi, and Sanskrit. Gauriji was instrumental in launching courses in manuscriptology, Bhakti literature, and mysticism in the Sanskrit department, University of Mumbai. She has also been recipient of many awards, to name a few: Ramakrishna Award by Canadian Education Foundation, Kavikalu Guru Kalidas Sanskrit Sadhana Puraskar by Maharashtra State Government, and many others. We are delighted to have you with us today. Gauriji will be speaking on Vedic bedrock of Vasudeva Kutumbakam. Over to Gauriji.
Hari Om, Namo Namaha. Surasura Sevita Pada Pankaja, Kare Virajat Kamaniya Pustaka, Virinchi Patni Kamala Sanasthita, Saraswati Nrityatu Vachime Sada. Aibhoho Manchamalam Kurvanaha Asya Vishwa Vidyapeethasya Managing Trustee Mahabhagaha Adhishalam Upastitaha Swamipadaha अन्ये च अस्माकं कुटुम्बिनः एव सर्वे कुटुम्बसदस्याः सर्वेभ्यः हार्दं नमः। शृण्वन्तु विश्वे अमृतस्य पुत्राः आये धामानि दिव्यानि तस्थुः says Shvetashvatara Upanishad. May the souls of immortal bliss, the children of immortality, hearken to me, listen to me, and even those who are there around us. Because the Rigveda says, Indram vardhanto apturaha krinvanto vishwamaryam. The whole universe has to be made as Arya, not the Arya and the Dravida race. Arya is noble. So spread nobility and immortality and prosperity all around by doing what? By doing apagnanto aravanaha, by removing the miseries and the evils and the poverty all around us. So that is the goal. And for this, the G20 2023 has come up with one earth, one family, one future, encapsulated in one Sanskrit word, two Sanskrit words rather, a phrase, Vasudeva Kutumbakam. Now, this topic I want to discuss, and as the tone is set by Aparao ji and Ajay ji earlier, and Swamini ji, of course, that this Vasudha, when we talk of Vasudha, it is Vasum Dharayati iti Vasudha, Vasundhara she is called. So it is not just the people living on this earth, but the environment, the five elements, the mountains, the valleys, the rivers, the animals, the beasts, the birds, and the worms and the insects. Everything comprises of this Vasudha. So this entire Vasudha has to be conceived of as one family. That's a great challenge. And therefore, I would like to present this in the form of a paper in threefold manner, like a thesis, what are our speculations, specific points to be deliberated upon, what is the antithesis for that, and how we can synthesize that. So thesis, antithesis, and synthesis, this will be the three sutri on the basis of which I would like to deliberate this. So the thesis now, first, of course, would come the thesis, and it's a long one because in the Vedic literature, we have so many references. In fact, we have the Bhumi Sukta in the Atharva Veda, the 12.1, the 12th Kanda, first Sukta is Bhumi Sukta. And I may tell you, before the pre-independence era, this Sukta was considered to be Matrubhumi Sukta, and this was, like inspiring all the freedom fighters to fight for the nation. So that inculcated the feeling of patriotism in all the people. That is Matrubhumi Sukta. When we call earth as Mother Earth, this comes from the Atharva Veda mantra, Mata Bhumihi Putroham Prithivyaha. The earth is mother and I am just her child. So that is the thesis for this. And in Yajurveda, we have another beautiful statement. Yatra Vishwam Bhavati Eka Needam. In the 21st century, we are talking about the global village, but our Vedas talk about a global nest. It's a nest, a concept of a nest. As all the birds, they nestle down in that cozy nest. Similarly, all the people should lie, should recline and repose in that one family, one nest-like thing. So as the birds nestle down, as the different members of the family live in the same kutumba, similarly, we all should live together. Now for this, before I come to the human beings, there are many things to be discussed about the environment and ecology that is a part of this sub-theme. So heaven and earth are regarded as the eternal parents, the Dyava Prithvi. Heaven is the showering father, while the earth is like a wish-fulfilling Kamadhenu, the mother, the cow. And she nourishes all the beings with the sweet milk in the udder. Atharva Veda extols Mother Earth in this Earth Sukta. She is adorned by rivers and oceans. She is comprised of high mountains, low valleys, and plain grounds. The hills and the snowy mountains, the forest lands on the earth, let them be pleasant and very comfortable for us. That is what the seer prays. The soil on this earth, it is brown, it is red, it is black, it is white. Many places, Babrum, Krishnam, Rohinim, Bhumim. But this is our earth. This is the earth on which the yajnas are performed, the altars, the fire altars are built. Sometimes she moves very fast. She terrifies us. She quakes terribly. But yet she is very dear to us. She is covered with rocks, stones, dust, trees, and herbs that house the worms, reptiles, birds, beasts, both the domestic and wild, and the 84th species, the human being. There exists the law of interdependence between all these and humans, that is ecology. Nature works in the model of supply chain management. Let's not harm the order. Let's not break the chain. Vedic seer says, when we dig up the earth, that time also we have to be very careful. There is a prarthana. Even while cutting the tree for the figs, for the samida, there is a prarthana, oh, am I harming you? Let me not harm you. Similarly, while digging the earth for any other purpose, there is a prarthana, let me not harm your vital points or the core, your heart. Mate marma vimrugvari, mate hridayam arpipam. She is the one who patiently bears all of us. She is Jagataha Niveshani. She is patient and therefore is Kshma or Kshama. She is Vasundhara, Vasudhani, because she gives us so many riches in the form of produce, the agricultural produce. She stands firm, though she shakes at time, otherwise she is quite firm. And therefore she is Pratishtha. So may we go around her, this auspicious Gandhavati Prithvi, Shivam Syonam Anucharem Vishwaha. Forest is another part of this Vasudha, and there is a beautiful Aranyani Sukta in the Rigveda, very beautiful poetic Sukta. This is a eulogy for the wild forest personified as a woman. She listens to the grasshoppers and the chirping of the bees. She allows the cattle to graze and permits men to eat the fruits and the roots or produce. She is considered as the benefactor, as such men cannot harm her at any time and not harm her and the inhabitants who are staying there. Mountains again have a unique place in this whole system because they maintain the nature's balance, and ancient texts abound in the praises of even the mountains. We know Kailasa, we know Himalaya, how we extol them. We have the example of Govardhana Parvata being worshipped, and We have in the Puranas also the Meru Dana. Whenever we are giving some danas, you make a heap of that. That is called a mountain. That is called a Meru. And there are so many Meru Danas. Water again, after earth and Aranyani, I come to water. Water is in the different forms has always amazed, human species. And it's the curiosity and the anxiety and, the practical concern for conserving the water. It washes the dirt, it purifies the body and the mind, the rivers, the lakes, all body reservoirs, the water pools, etc. But the main thing and the very unique thing is the rainwater which falls from the vault of the blue sky. And Rigveda glorifies Parajanya also as a deity. There is a beautiful Parajanya Sukta in the Atri Mandala, the fifth mandala of the Rigveda. Now this comes as a mighty male deity who is the seeder, who is the fructifier of this vast naked earth, it is called, Aditi, unbounded earth. And he causes the green sprouts and the vegetation and thus announces the fertility of this earth. Water is regarded as sacred and its efficacy as a creative fluid is widely believed in not only in Indian civilization but all other civilizations. It is an eternal source of peace because it purifies the impurities not only of body but also of the mind. Another water reservoir is the flowing river. And the journey of a river from the personification to its apotheosis, the deification, is very interesting. In the second mandala, the Gritsamada Rishi, he extols, and praises river Saraswati as Naditame, Ambitame, Devitame. She is the best of the rivers, she is the best of the mothers, and she is the best of the deities, the goddesses. So this is how we worship rivers. And once we worship that element, we hardly can ever think of maligning her or polluting her. That sense of divinity which we attach to all the elements around us, that I think is the major reason and major cause of why there was no pollution in ancient times, because all people, we call them now pagans, but we are nature worshippers. And once we worship something, we give sanctity to that, and we can't ever think of polluting it. Same thing happens for water, same thing happens for air, and same thing happens for Prithvi, Mata. So these are the various things. Now the purificatory bath, that is very, or the consecration for the Abhisheka, for the Rajya Abhisheka, or anything when you want to sanctify, there is sprinkling of water at least. Even after graduation, there was Avabhrita Snana in ancient India. But then this is that purificatory bath which is not only prescribed for the Yajamana while performing sacrifices, but even for a graduate student. And all other religions also, sprinkling of water before consecration is regarded as very, very important. This gave rise to water management. And therefore, we have so many old forts where you have water bodies, big stony pools have been constructed and water has been preserved. And this water will be, coming from one pool to the other pool, interconnected water pools. This is a speciality not only in the urban India, but especially the Gond Samaj of Madhya Pradesh. We have these interconnected water bodies. So water management is discussed in ancient Indian texts like Varaha Mihira's Brihat Samhita and all. We have types of water given in the Yajurveda. So many types of water are there. We should learn lessons in sustainable hydrology from the ruins. Especially I visited Vijayanagar Samrajya in Karnataka. Even now that Rayara Hole, KK Muhammad can, sir can endorse that. So it is still there, Rayara Hole. Rayara is Krishnadeva Raya. Hole is a stream. Hole is a Kannada word for stream. Air is the most dynamic element and works on different levels of existence. From physiological point of view, it is the prana vayu, the life principle. Psychologically, it is the organs, as Prashnopanishad and other Upanishads tell us. And philosophically, it is pranopasana equated with atmopasana. So there is another angle given to that. And now coming to yoga, of course, the first, one of the limbs of Ashtanga Yoga, pranayama, is used nowadays. Recently, I heard a very unique word has been coined for pranayama. They call it cardiac coherence therapy. Cardiac coherence therapy. This is nothing but pranayama. And then air pollution also, now, it has reached alarming state for various reasons, discharges of harmful gases and this and that. But then once we attach that divinity to the element, I think we naturally try to preserve it, sanctify it and preserve it. Now, after considering this environment, I come to ecology. The ecology is the relation of human being with the nature, with the animals and the birds, and with other fellow beings. So ecology is a branch of biology, technically, and it deals with relationship of organisms with their environment. This word, ecology, because I'm a student of etymology, Nirukta, so I go for words. And this word was coined only in the 19th century, ecology. And this is derived from the Greek word oikos, O-I-K-O-S, and which is cognate with the Sanskrit word okas. And okas means house. We have for the gods a word, divokas. There is in Brahma Sutra, Arbhakaukastvadhikaranam, very small dwelling, because the Atma is supposed to stay in the Hritpundarika, which is a very small dwelling. So Arbhaka, Oka. So Oka and Oikos, and then from this, the word has been coined. It's a quite late, what you can say, coinage of the word. But then the Sanskrit texts have many, especially the Vedic text, have many references to the environmental protection, ecological balance, the Veda cycle, the climate change, and the degradation and disintegration, deterioration of natural phenomena, either by natural, calamities or through human interference. Now, when the word PETA, prevention of enmity towards animals, was not even coined, even in those old days, maybe in the 3rd century, 4th century BCE, because Kautilya's Arthashastra refers to that, and he has prescribed, Kautilya, I am referring to Arthashastra in the Vedic bedrock because Arthashastra is considered to be Upaveda of the Atharva Veda. So Kautilya has prescribed 26 panas as fine for binding, killing or injuring fish, birds, deer and animals whose slaughter is disallowed. There is a separate superintendent of animal slaughter, and he is, supposed to fine 50 panas to one who killed a calf, a cow or a bull. In fact, Kautilya makes sure that a separate supervisor, Adhyaksha, Gavadhyaksha of cattle is appointed, and he is entrusted the care of crippled, deserted and such ailing cows, etc. Similar thing is good for the horses and for the elephants, the Gajadhyaksha and the Ashwadhyaksha also. Now, the principle of non-violence, somebody referred to that, the principle of non-violence, Swamini Amma referred to that. That was prescribed by Patanjali as one of the limbs in the yama, the 5 yamas, right? Ahimsa, Satyamasteyam, Brahmacharyam, Aparigraha. Later on, it was adopted by Buddhism and Jainism as to build the moral character and the moral role. And then it became a part and parcel of their education system, which inculcated the value of environmental protection, ahimsa, non-injury, non-killing. This non-injury concept, of course, can work on physical level, on mental level, on emotional level, on spiritual level. So there are so many levels for ahimsa. Otherwise, you may, resist wielding a weapon against anybody, but you may imbibe an evil feeling for that person. It is as good as manasika himsa. So this is all the thesis part of that. Now, antithesis and synthesis I'll complete in 10 minutes, 5 minutes maybe. The diversity regarding religion, race, language, customs, practices, etc., they are threatening, and they pose as an antithesis to all these theses. Now, the modern statistics, just yesterday I searched on Google, Swami helped me to get this data. Our globe has 7,000 languages. Some 20 of them are spoken, and 3 of Indian languages are there in the 20 languages. Okay. First, of course, is English. Then there are 4,000 faiths prevalent today. Some 5-10 of them are like more commonly practiced by all. So with such diversity around, it is indeed very difficult to maintain peace and concord unless each one of us nurtures the feeling of oneness. All conflicts, they arise out of the lack of harmony, as Professor Aurobindo used to say. Increasing conflict is seen today between human race and its surroundings. When it comes to animals, it is observed that due to urbanization and deforestation, natural habitat of animals, they are endangered, and therefore, because the natural habitat is lost, the wild animals come to the plains or come to the urban areas to attack the human race. Forceful poaching for ivory, for skin, for some other things, and unlawful hunting, etc., cutting of the trees in the reserved areas. We had a concept of abhayaranyas. Abhaya Aranya is not a modern concept. It was there right from the beginning, and especially around the temple areas, the abhayaranyas were preserved. In Marathi, it is called Devarai, Devachi Rai, or Devasati Keleli Rai. Rai is a grove of bushes. So when it is regarding humans, it should be more due to the conflict is more due to the kama, krodha and lobha, tasmade tatrayam tejed. And that can happen only when we feel other as not other, but our own self. So ayam nijaha paro veti, if my and thy, this dichotomy, as long as it prevails, there will be this fear. And dvitiyadvai bhayam bhavati, says Upanishad. So if there is no dvitiya, we are all one. So ultimately, I feel everything is rooted in the concept of oneness or Advaita Vedanta. And therefore, to synthesize this, the Vedic seers believed that the well-being of Mother Earth depended upon the preservation and sustainable development of the surroundings, and combining the divergent views to make a coherent whole, that is synthesis, and that is strongly propounded in all the Vedic texts. Atharva Veda says, Mano dvikshata kaschana. Let us not hate each other. Let us not have the envy and malice and anger for other. Let's be ready to sacrifice our own selves for the sake of our nation, for the sake of our Mother Earth. Vayam tubhyam balirhitasyama. Let us hum aap syama. All our 5 fingers are not equal, but still we can achieve the task with the little and the middle and the shorter one, the stout one. So though they are not all similar, we can achieve all tough tasks. There are different flowers of different shapes and size and fragrance. Individually, they may not attract you, but a bouquet of flowers always looks attractive. And therefore, it is the mosaic of the divergent culture, the diverse culture, and the multiplicity around. As Swamini Amma was saying, it is unity in diversity that really is going to help us to synthesize this, and make it a coherent whole. So for that, love and respect, love and that bonding of love which exists in family, in the family member, my ideology and my son's ideology may not be the same, but still we live under one roof, loving each other. Similar thing happens, our ideologies may differ, our opinions may differ, but still we can maintain that cord of fraternity, cord of love, and stay together. Another thing for that, these are some suggestions. Of course, I'll be giving some suggestions, more suggestions to Mitrananji as he suggested. So, celebrations of festivals according to seasons. This is, the seasons are the different phases in the life of Mother Earth. And therefore, we should celebrate it with her. So now the Earth Day is approaching on 22nd April. Vishu is approaching now very soon. So let us celebrate all that. Then there are methods of preservation of biodiversity and treating these with respect. For that, the children should be taught the importance of plants, medicinal plants, the biodiversity around them, so that, the sooner we realize this, we can go for continuity and prosperity in this world. So what, as the gist of the Sanatana Dharma, as it is stated in the Padma Purana or the Viduraniti, Mahabharata, it is stated, Shruyatam Dharma Sarvaswam. Shruyatam, listen to me, not me. Shruyatam Dharma Sarvaswam, Shrutva Chaiva Avadharyatam. And having listened, please contemplate upon it, give it a second thought. What is that? Atmanaha Pratikulani Paresham Na Samacharet. What you don't want others to do to you, please don't do it to others. Atmanaha pratikula. Whatever is wrong for you is wrong for others. Why do you do it to others? So Atmanaha pratikulani paresham na samacharet. The same thing in the last sukta of the Rigveda, it is stated that we should all go with one mind. It is one earth, one family, one future. If we want to proceed for one common, glorified, and very contented future, it has to be Sangachadvam, Samvadadvam, Samvo Manausi Janatam, or Samaniva Akutihi. All our thoughts should be one. Samanam Hridayanivaha, our hearts should be of the same feeling. They should pulsate with the same feeling and emotions. And Samanam Hridayanivaha, Samanamastu Vo Manaha Yatha Vahassu Sahasati. And I will end with a native North American saying, which is Mita Kuye Oyasin. Mita Kuye Oyasin is we all are related. Let's pledge to be relatives so that one earth, one family, one future becomes a reality. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gauriji, for an enlightening session and introducing us to the Vedic times and the understanding of Vasudeva Kutumbakam. The last speaker for the session is Dr. Aparao Mukhamala. He is a managing trustee of Chinmaya Vishwa Vidyapeeth Trust. He works closely with CVV Trust to ensure that every single day CVV is focused on providing world-class education built on Indian wisdom. Today, Aparao will be speaking on ecology, critical need for the vision of Vasudeva Kutumbakam. Aparao, please.
Do I still get my 15 minutes? Okay. Well, 12, okay. I can make it 10. Hari Om. Salutations to you all. Swamiji pranams. I am not a Sanskrit scholar. I am not a Vedantic Pandit like Swamini Amma and Swami Mitranandaji. I am ordinary person like you. So I can connect with you very well. We are all connected, we are interconnected, both metaphorically and really. I said this last time, I will say it again. We share our bits and pieces of each other together. We are totally interconnected. Plants are as much connected as we are with each other. We breathe out carbon dioxide, they take in carbon dioxide. Whose carbon dioxide? Mine and yours. Thus, our cells, our atoms are going to the plant. Plant's atoms are coming to us. My atoms are coming to you. Swamiji, you included. Your atoms are coming to me. Somebody with machine learning made a calculation that each and every one of us have 10,000 atoms that Mahatma Gandhi had. Each and every one of us. We had 1,000 atoms that Jesus Christ had. We are embodiment of him. Probably we had lakhs of atoms of His Holiness Swami Chinmayananda because he was here with us physically until 1993. If this is not interconnectedness, what is interconnectedness? We are totally interconnected to each and every insect, bug, mosquito, and grown-up animals in this world. Ecology, Madam has defined well. It is the study of the organisms on this planet. Ecosystem is the organization of all these organisms. Ecoscience is study of all of this ecology. Mitrananda ji mentioned there are some 54 million species in this universe. Some of them are becoming extinct. Again, thanks to machine learning, somebody calculated there are 6 trillion trees in this world until the start of industrial revolution. Now we have only 3 trillion trees. Since we are talking numbers, I might as well go into the GDP. Now our GDP of India is $3.5 trillion. We still count in dollars. We adore the white man and the white man's currency. Time will come when we can trade in the rupees. It's just we're verge of doing that. We want to become a $5 trillion economy to become the 3rd largest economy in the world. We are number 5 now. Ajay has mentioned we are number 1 only a few thousand, less than 1,000 years ago, a few hundred years ago, before we were invaded by the Mughals and ruled by the British. We'll get there again. We could become number 1. But to do that, we need to take care of the ecology. That's where these two come together. How are they connected? We measure success by infrastructure and manufacturing capacity because they are tangible. My accounting friends can say that. They want a tangible asset. The intangible asset is human capital. In India, we are blessed to have half of our population less than 25 years of age. The bad side of it is each and every spending 43 days per year away from work because of illness and poor health. That translates into 15% of the GDP. Most of these diseases are related to what we are doing to the environment and to ourselves. Environment, we can reach our goal of becoming the largest economy in the world. How do we do that? By having a fresh air to breathe. It is fresh to begin with. We are ruining it. Good drinking water. I remember growing up in a small village of 60 families. The day Krishna river was released through the canals, all the village women and men will go and pray. Jalam Daiva Swarupam. Without that, we have no harvest. Without harvest, we have no food to eat. We worshipped River Krishna. First harvest came, it was given at the temple. We did not eat. What we are doing now? Building dams, polluting the waters, polluting the soil, polluting the air. Again, thanks to machine learning and artificial intelligence, the single largest pollutant to the environment is not carbon dioxide, is methane. You know who produces methane? Our cattle that we grow to eat, not to get milk. Methane is 15 times more toxic than carbon dioxide. In the environment, there is only 0.4% carbon dioxide normally. 74% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, and less than 1% other things. Now, we are successfully managing to pollute the atmosphere by methane and carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide coming from industries and transportation, and methane coming from animals. Now brings me back to ahimsa. Hypothetically, if each and every one in this world becomes a vegetarian, there will be no starvation, there will be surplus food. It takes 10 times more land to rear a cattle or a sheep or a goat to eat than what it takes to grow vegetables and fruits. You won't go hungry, plus you don't pollute the atmosphere. Next, tapas, austerity. We are living in the world of superstition of materialism. iPhone 15, I need it. I want it, I don't need it. i7, not i5. We don't need it, we want it. Where is all this going to? Chemical pollution. Electronic pollution is a new word. Where do you dump all these computers and phones and hard drives? They're not degradable by any means. If you lead a life of austerity, tapas, there is enough for all of us, and we don't have to pollute anything. With ahimsa, if we become vegetarians, which is the utopian dream, which will never become, we might, having said that, American Cancer Society has declared that red meat is carcinogenic, and the processed meat is carcinogenic. Smoking has gone down in the population by about 20% in the last 50-60 years. I believe non-vegetarian will go the same way. People are realizing it is not for human consumption. Hunters-gatherers, yes, they did. They did not eat 4 meals a day. They eat 1 meal a day. Whenever they felt hungry, they will go and hunt. They eat. And next time they hunted was maybe a couple of days later. They didn't hunt a rabbit for a breakfast, goat for lunch, and cattle for dinner. Did they? No. We want a breakfast, we want a lunch, we want a dinner. We eat out of habit. Every time we eat, we are polluting the world, believe it or not. Strangely, the dharma of industry is what? To make profit. They think dharma of the government is to clean up the industrial pollution. Is that fair? You make a mess and government has to clean it up. Government is you and me. Same thing with us. We eat. Our dharma. Who should clean up the mess, the waste? government responsibility. They want a litter in every 100 yards. They want garbage disposal. So we make a mess, we expect the government to clean it. Government is you and me again. This is not a sustainable system. Third one, we talk about ahimsa, yajna. Yajna spirit is a sharing spirit. If we all share what we have, there will be no starvation in this world. The disparity between the haves and have-nots is increasing disproportionately, which is again leading to ecological problem. Does one need 2 cars and 2 houses? Ajay ji mentioned average, so Mitrananda ji, average number of residents in a house is 2.1 in the so-called civilized developed countries. In India, it is 4.9, 4.1, 4.9. Is this sustainable? G20 has become a political platform. I will end with this in just a few minutes. For a developing country like ours, which are almost has become a developed country, we are going to pollute the world more than what a developed country should. Now the developed country telling us, you guys stop polluting, but they will continue to pollute because they have industries, they don't want us to industrialize. I'm not saying or supporting that we should pollute, but we should have some leeway, the developing nations, to catch up with the developed nations so that we have a relatively good standard of living. We don't need 2 homes or 2 wives. At least we need 1 home and 1 wife. And a couple of children. And education for our children. We do need industries. I don't want to go back to Stone Age. We need a laptop and a phone, but I don't need a new phone every year, like the quote-unquote developed countries do. Yes, when you make phones, there will be pollution. When you industrialize, there will be pollution. When you have roads, there is pollution. But there is a limit for what we do. Mother Earth is very patient, but sometimes she says, enough is enough, hell with you. She just shakes, we get a tsunami. She will just shake a bit more. That's called pralayam. We start all over again. We don't need to save the world, believe me. The environment can save itself. We need to save ourselves. We are here only for a short span of 70, 80, 90, maybe you are lucky 105 years or 120 is the record. It is fractionally small. It won't matter to Mother Earth how long you live, but she can take care of herself. If we save the environment, we are saving ourselves. We are saving me, my children, our grandchildren. We have no right to pollute the air that they have to breathe. So to sum up, ahimsa, yajna spirit, austerity and tapas, the environment will take care of itself. We should stop polluting and start repairing it, restoring it. The environment is very resilient. If you don't mess too much, it will take care of it. Thank you. Hari Om.
Thank you, Aparao ji, for enriching our thoughts and giving us the principle of ahimsa, tapas, and yajna. I hope this has been a fruitful session to all of you. I would like to thank all our speakers of the session who have spared their precious time and were able to join us for a productive discussion. Now we'll break for a short tea break. Guests will be served tea in the scholars block, and for others, tea is there right outside the auditorium. So please be back by 11:25.
Tell them to scan.
So please do scan your, put your feedback by scanning the QR code, and it is also right there outside the auditorium. So please utilize this time to give your feedback. Thank you.
We'll make it next one. Keep lunch for students is in. Go ahead.
Hari Om. The QR codes will be, earlier the QR code we displayed was for the overall conference